Hello and welcome to the Look Into It podcast. I'm your eternally grateful to all of you, host Renee, and I just want to say that you guys could be anywhere in these podcast streets, but you're here with me, and that's special. I hope that everybody's weekend is going swimmingly. Um, Only thing that could make this weekend better for me is that both teams lose in the Super Bowl. I hate Tom Brady, and the Raiders fan in me will not allow me to cheer for the Chiefs. So on Monday or Tuesday, whenever you guys get this, man, you guys can just determine my mood from however the Super Bowl goes. But I mean, worst comes to worst, I'll probably just be watching the Puppy Bowl and drinking coffee. But let's let's chop up some game right now. Let's see what's going on in these streets out here today. In the era of recorded Karen freakouts and Ken meltdowns, we have to understand that they're part of a larger system. They're the pinky finger on the hand of the Voltron that is white supremacy. And our brother Neely Fuller Jr. likes to refer to the white supremacists as the usual suspects. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about tonight, or this morning, this afternoon, whenever you guys are tuning in. We're going to be talking about the usual suspects. And who are the usual suspects? Well, they are the white supremacists. White supremacists are a group of people who think that just having white skin puts them above anything else. They don't have any laws, they don't have any rules, they don't have any governors or anything like that because they are supreme. Supreme over who? Supreme over the mud people. When we use the term mud people, that is, we are using a white supremacist term. That's not something I'm making up. Renee isn't just talking crazy and pulling something out of her butt. No, we're talking about a term that white supremacists use to describe anybody who is non-white. They have all kinds of terms. It's not always just going to be nigger, spick, chink, anything like that. Because if you're not white, you're a mud person. So instead of putting a division or a certain label on it to just encompass every non-white being on this earth, including the trees, they're going to say that you're a mud person, okay? And something that I really harp on all the time is the language that white supremacists and suspected white supremacists use because they're very good at it. The white supremacists will use their words to deceive you. Let's give an example. You might go to your manager and say, "Hey, Mr. Johnny, I think I need a raise. I've been here for a year. I'm on time. I don't have any issues with showing up. I do what's asked of me. I work my overtime. I come in on weekends and I want a raise." And Mr. Johnny will say, "Hey, you know what, Tyrone, you work really, really hard. I can't take that away from you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a bonus. And when you get your paycheck, you understand, you look at it and you say, oh, well, shit, I got $500 extra dollars. That's sweet. I must have got me a good raise." And then when you get your next check after the check with the bonus on it and you see, man, why is my check the same as it was before? And when you go talk to Mr. Johnny, he's like, well, I gave you a bonus. I didn't give you a raise. You got a bonus. And maybe if you keep working like you were working, you might get another one. Maybe if you keep working hard, just maybe you will. And because it's it's easy for us to tune out when white people talk. We're going to hear the key parts of, okay, getting a bonus. Okay, that means I'm getting some more money right now. But we're not thinking about in the long run of it all. Because in the long run, we could have negotiated a pay raise instead of a bonus, a one-time bonus. But That's something that we're going to have to learn how to do. We're going to have to start really paying attention when they talk because that's how they get over on us. You know, the Native Americans used to say that the pale man speaks with a forked tongue. And if that shit ain't truer than gold, I don't know what else is. Now, the ultimate goal of the white supremacists is to spread confusion. That is simply what they're here for because if they can get the non white people to arguing about what white supremacy and racism, and I want to make a note that at the Look Into It podcast, we use white supremacy and racism as synonyms, they mean the same thing. Okay, back to the topic at hand. If they can get the non white people to argue about what is racism and what is white supremacy, that means that they can constantly slide the goal line on the amount of racism, white supremacy that they practice because we won't be able to recognize it when it's in front of our faces. I want to use the example of affirmative action. Now, on paper, it sounds good. It sounds like it's something that benefits non white people, specifically black people. But then the white supremacists, being the con artists that they are, the three-card Monty on the streets of New York, hustlers that they are, they decided what a minority was. They made white women a minority. They made gay white men a minority. And then you have the tan people filling in the middle, and the black people are on the bottom. So a legislative act that was written, quote unquote, with black people in mind, black people can't even get a piece of the cake because they got to feed everybody else that isn't straight and white or white and male before they can get to anybody that is specifically black, non-white. Another thing that the white supremacists like to do is to censor black people. This week on Instagram, my former Instagram page for the podcast was hacked and deleted. And, I was looking at this and I had gotten really upset because, I was talking to some really dope people. Fortunately, I was able to make another podcast Instagram page, and I'm going to give that out at the end of the show. But, fortunately, I was able to, rehash with these people. But I thought to myself, man, like I'm just this one itty bitty person. Why in the hell is my page under attack? And then I realized something. I speak about white supremacy in a form or fashion that is uncomfortable for the white supremacists to hear. See, they like thinking about people talking about white supremacy as somebody in a basement smoking a cigarette, yelling and banging on the cracker. We don't do that here. We speak about it intelligently and we like to break it down so that we can all understand it because if everybody has an understanding of what it is, we know how we can combat it. And I'm not the only one that they've done this to. There's Brother Rizza Islam. He was hacked this week. And another, a really dope podcast that I was able to find just through Instagram and, hashtag Black Podcast Matter and stuff like that was Brunch with Shay. She speaks a lot of truth as well, and she got hacked. So you guys make sure you go find Brunch with Shay and you guys follow her, listen to her, because she's pretty fucking dope. Something that I struggle with is the wondering of why. Why does this happen? Why does that happen? Why does this work like this? And, I was really, sitting around thinking about, like, why do the white supremacists censor so much? They censor black voices to the point that we are drowned out. And it's because they are threatened. White supremacists are on their last legs. If you look at birth rates across the United States, um, their numbers are dwindling. And with more of their daughters becoming slaves to the BBC, more of their sons giving into their plantation fever, this country is not going to be majority white for very much longer. And that is something that truly scares the white supremacists because they're thinking of revenge. What if this, what if these people who we've stepped on and oppressed and made insufficient, for lack of a better term, what if they do to us what we did to them? So, with the rise of black culture becoming mainstream, we're learning more black history. We're learning more about what white supremacy is and how it works. So, their secrets are coming to light. And with that being said, what does somebody do on TV if somebody drops the F bomb? You hear a beep. So that's what they're doing right now. Because when you're telling too much truth, they're just going to have to hit you with the bleep button. And that's what they tried to do, but they failed because I'm just not going to stop banging on them at all. This work is important, and I'm going to have to keep grinding. I'm going to have to keep pushing, and they're not going to stop me. Understand this. You cannot make sense of white supremacy. It is nonsense. These people are so dedicated to just holding on to having white skin put you on the top of the pyramid that they will contradict themselves just as long as you reap no benefits. They'll even start saying that they're a minority just to take the benefits away from you. Let's talk about the $5 Indians. The Dawes Rolls. These white supremacists found out that the United States was giving benefits to Native Americans, and so they started paying people $5 just to say that they were Indian so that they could get benefits and that their family could get benefits. Is that not fucking crazy? Like, these people are just so dedicated to you not having anything that they're gonna take your identity so you don't get it. I mean, these people, they think that they are descended from gods and mythical creatures. And I'm not making this up. There's so many white supremacist groups that have their names rooted in Greek mythology. There's the Golden Dawn. These guys are a bunch of losers. They're like militiamen in the Midwest. They pride themselves on being American ISIS, like ISIS isn't already American. But that's a show for another day. But the most interesting one that I came across that I really want to share with you guys is Project Werewolf. You heard me right. Project Werewolf. And no, I'm not talking about Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox playing basketball and howling when he gets some from the most popular girl in school. But wouldn't that just make her a nasty bitch in real life? I mean, she's sitting up here literally a dog dick licking bitch, but that's just a white woman being a white woman. But anyway, Project Werewolf is the strength training program for the alt-right. Now, we've seen what's his name? Richard Spencer. He's a little weenie. Like, and these guys, they've gotten a group of a meathead jock bros who like eat steak and eggs 12 square times a day that are training these guys so they can be strong and they can come fight the niggers. that have beat them up and took their girlfriends. Like, it's so pathetic. Like, can you imagine what that conversation sounded like in an Xbox Live chat room? Hey, bro, I lift weights all day and then I come home and I play this. Hey, bro, I'm an economist. I don't lift weights. I hate monkeys and niggers. I did too. Hey, man, train me to fight the niggers. Yeah, bro. And I imagine it was something like that. But now let's be serious for a moment. In the 2019, was it, film with the Joker, or was it 2020? I don't know. Anyway, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie dealt a lot with the the lone wolf narrative of the mentally ill white man, where he knew he was mentally ill, and when he was on the what was supposed to be the what's his name, Jay Leno, was that the late night white man? Anyway, when he was on the little late night talk show, he made a mention of werewolfing out. And that just let me know how serious that this shit was. Like, these people literally, they think in their hearts that they have superpowers. When really, they just have the power of being white. But the thing that we have to understand is white supremacy itself is a mental illness. So when they're off disassociating themselves from reality, they have time to, think of themselves as Thor, the Nordic god, and Odin, and Freya. Because remember, the white supremacist female is just as, if not more, dangerous. The mother is the first teacher. So, where does white man learn his vitriol from black society from? Now, when you really dig deep into white supremacy, you'll find that throughout history, the white supremacists have only dealt with black people specifically because, see, everybody else, they can assimilate into being white. They can marry and get whitish children from. Like the Asian community, they have a group of Asian white mixed children that they call Havas, where they can still kind of pass as white-ish depending on whose genes were dominant. That's why in Oklahoma, when we had that police officer Daniel Holtzclaw raping all those black women, if you listen to the tapes, which I don't suggest you do for a trigger warning, but if you listen to the tapes, you'll hear that he's telling her, "Oh, you've never sucked a white dick before," when he's clearly half Asian by looking at him. But anyway, but how the white supremacists deal with black people is three ways: they lie, they deny, and then they pacify. Now let's use our good sister Harriet Tubman as an example of lie, deny, and pacify. Um, they will lie on this woman and say that she had every white person in America guiding her to the underground, through the Underground Railroad, excuse me. And then they will deny that her existence and her being wanted by the United States government had anything to do with racism. They'll deny that it was racism, but say she was wanted because she was a war criminal, because our sister did fight in the Civil War. But then they'll pacify our anger with them lying and denying on her by putting her on the $20 bill, and we already touched on that last week. So I'm not going to get too heavy into that, but that's just a quick, easy breakdown of how it goes: lie, deny, and pacify. The pacification is usually something symbolic that we don't have anything to gain from. But something that I truly want to harp on, though, in dealing with the white supremacists is their language. Their language, their language. They are so good at lying to us. And not enough black people speak legalese that the white supremacists do. And those of us who do speak legalese, not all of us, but a good bit of us are trying to crawl under the table to catch the crumbs from the butter biscuit. Or we're gonna, spread our little butt cheeks and let Zaddy or white mommy have her way with us. And those of us who understand legalese, they are put into a box where nothing can get done for them. Shout out to Olu Stevens. Olu Stevens is a really legit judge out in Kentucky who is about black people. But the white people can't stand him. They threaten to blow up his house every other week. He gets death threats. Like, I get migraine headaches, which I'm having one right now, but I'm trying to push through this for you guys. My sinuses are kicking my butt. I'm sorry if I sound a little off, guys. I'm just, my job has me in really strange places, and I catch colds. It's been like in 20-degree weather, 30-degree weather. It's crazy out here in these streets. But anyway, we gotta just understand that if we can read more and we can grow our vocabularies, that we can start to combat some of their language tricks that they pull on us. We have to get from in front of the television because, as our late great Queen Mother, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, always taught us, reading is more important than watching television. So let's grow our vocabularies. Let's combat white supremacy, African liberation through African education. All right, guys, I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Make sure that you're joining us on Facebook at Look Into It Podcast Facebook group. If you have any emails that you guys want to send to me, that's going to just send it over to lookintoitpod21@gmail.com. And then I have to give out our new Instagram page, guys. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull it up for you. New Instagram page is The Real Look Into It Pod. And that's just all one word, The Real Look Into It Pod. Make sure you guys are staying safe out there in these streets. We know Corona is still a thing. Don't let them tell you that it isn't. Shout out to TDR Radio. Make sure you guys are checking out everything that the Net Radio Network has to offer because it's all straight fire. And I'm out of here. Later days.